MyMac podcast 880. Chips do matter.
And welcome everyone to the MyMac.com podcast. Power through. So, chips do matter, but we are not talking about tasty, salty snacks to crunch on while watching various sports on TV, but connectivity and low power wireless standards all jumbled together to make an Internet of Things word salad less confusing. And if you think that wasn't confusing, try saying that sentence 5 times fast. As an added bonus, even stuff not designed to work together should, if the proper protocols are followed. Get it? Well, we're not really sure either, but we're going to bumble and stumble our way to a greater understanding, and we're going to take you, all of you, along for the ride. And also, don't forget, we need you. We seriously need you to insult us in the worst way for our upcoming 600th episode, and that's no sausage. How are you today, Gaz?
I'm very well, thank you. Yeah, very well. I had an early game to do this morning. I wasn't going to be doing a game because it's my Mrs. G's birthday tomorrow, and we're extending the celebrations today. So I wasn't going to do a game. Or else, and I wasn't going to do a game this afternoon, so I did one this morning. Came back, and now I'm podding.
Yes, so I'm sure she's thrilled.
I'm going to be sharpish, but yes, no, I'm well, very good. First day back, or this week, I had my first week back at proper work.
Nice
work. After my 11-month Lent period. Let's put it that way. Having to use Windows at work again. Boo hiss. So when I've been able to get onto MyMac, it has certainly been refreshing. However, I've still not got the issues with the Safari not syncing across the devices and not allowing me to push from one device to another. So I really need to kind of get that sorted. But I think you've got to do lots of turning off of syncing, and it's just a bit of a pain. So, and there you go. We've had quite a few frosts this week, although it's not been, I mean, it's been cold, but it's not been, not been disastrously cold. We just had frost in the morning, and so not too bad at all. I did a 50-mile bike ride on Monday as well, guys.
Wow.
So, yeah.
All's good. Managed to do that while teleworking?
No, because I only work midweek.
You got a little computer on the handlebars. Come on, Excel.
Well, I have.
You can do it.
I've told you I've got a little computer on my handlebars because it's my phone, of course. But no. That's that on the day that I don't work. Honest, Gov.
Sure.
How about you? What's I see you say it's been rather cold where you are.
Oh my God, it has been really. Now, I mean, I grew up in South Florida, which I've said countless times, and made my way to Ohio before I came to Virginia. And Ohio, for people who have never been to Ohio in the wintertime, number one, just don't. It's really, really, really cold in Ohio. Well, that's what it's been like here in the DC area this week. And on top of that, there's been like 2 significant snowstorms. And quite frankly, guys, I'm just sick and tired of the whole thing.
We know, we've heard all about your exploits out in the snowstorms.
Oh, yeah. For 2 pence in the car down to Fort Lauderdale. It wouldn't take a whole lot at this point. Also, going simple with complications for audio didn't really get me where I wanted to go last week, Gaz.
Dear.
Yeah, and I found out why.
And audio, one day you'll learn. One day you will learn.
It'll basically be
that stupid thing for me to say, isn't it? Really,
it'll be a stick that I talk into, and somehow
with
that
a
will
can
magically go to the computer.
It'll be string with a can on the end,
and everything. I actually have the soup can mic.
Yeah,
I've never attempted to use it here on the shelf.
You have, haven't you? You showed me it. Yes.
It's right behind me here on the shelf, but I am not going to dig that thing out right now.
Oh, please make life so much easier.
I think I have figured out why I've been having some of the problems that I've been having. And
it's the person sitting behind the
it
keyboard.
is. It completely is. Quite some time ago. Now you may remember this. About 4 years ago, I bought some audio gear. Do you remember when I did that?
Amongst all of the other years, yes, I remember that.
Days,
yes.
weeks.
Are you talking about the bulk gear you bought?
Yeah, no. This was the audio interface. The Behringer. It was a Behringer UMC 404 HD.
Yeah.
It's got 4 XLR inputs. Blah 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 blah. USB out, and that was how I was connecting all of my other various gear back to the computer. Well, the Behringer UMC 404 after 4 years has kind of bit the dust. So it was getting buzzy as compared to being phlegmy. It was getting phlegmy, guys. My Behringer interface was getting phlegmy.
It was buzzing phlegm.
It was phlegming into the buzzing Vorkerina. I don't even know what you would say with that. So I decided I wanted to get a new USB interface. And I didn't want to go with the same thing I'd had before.
Of course.
So after
that would be too simple, wouldn't it? And too easy.
Because then it would just be plug and play, and it was like, who the hell wants that?
Well, guy doesn't.
How can I get at least a half hour of content out of all this crap that I buy?
Who on earth would want to do that?
If I just get the same thing that I got before?
Yeah.
No, can't do that.
Okay.
So I got it's a Motu M4. And I know
the Motu M4. Yeah.
Do you? No. I think you are making fun of me.
You might be right.
I do. So this is kind of a cool unit. It's going to be my pick, so there'll be a link in the show notes if you want to go check that out.
Whoopie-doo.
Yeah. But I currently have, this is the Shure SM7B microphone, which requires like a crap ton of gain. And I don't have it currently going to any of the outbound gear. It's just going right into the Motu right now. So it's not adjusted for anything other than levels. And we'll see how that goes.
So I'm going to have a question for the listeners, and the listener who, in particular, who who you are. If you'd like to respond, just to tell us how different Guy sounds this week to every other week, that will be interesting.
A little bit.
So you think?
So I think. Yeah. Well, so that's what it's cold.
Okay.
And I bought more gear.
Okay. So should
we every other winter week?
Okay. So should we get straight over to Gazzy snippets then?
We should.
Brilliant. Okay. So Tesla apparently are refusing to adopt CarPlay. But I saw somebody actually had a workaround. However, having gone into that workaround, it's not quite so straightforward as you might think. So
didn't we talk about this?
I don't remember talking about it, no, and I certainly didn't log it on last week's snippets. So, but anyway, we talked about other stuff, I think
in regards, because the whole thing with Tesla not adopting CarPlay, I get why they don't. And I'm actually, if I owned a Tesla, I would actually be okay with it, because the Tesla has its own like navigation system as well as self-drive and all the rest of that. And those pieces have to work together in order to allow the car.
They can still work together and add. I mean, all my car stuff works on its own, and if I choose to use CarPlay, it works with CarPlay. So
yes, the difference is the self-drive part, because the GPS system works in with the self-drive part.
I'm sure they could get round it, Guy.
They can't. It's integrated.
It's so fabulously, brilliantly fabulous. I'm sure he could come up with a way around it.
Fabulous squared is what I'm hearing here. Yeah, but no, I get why they can't. And if you set your navigation system to go to grandma's house,
Snippets.
I know. I'm sorry. If you set your navigation and you're using CarPlay, and you set that to go to Grandma's house, and the self drive is going to be like, well, I don't know where you're going because they're not talking back and forth to one another.
Yeah, I'm sure they could actually do something. So anyway, there is a workaround, but it's complicated. So unless you're really pretty much a little bit like Guy and his mics, I wouldn't attempt it. Dutch regulators.
If it was like me and my mics, nobody would ever have a self-driving anything.
Well, nobody would get anywhere either. So
self-drive, bam, right into the tree.
Yeah. Dutch regulators are to vet Apple's plan for App Store third-party payments as details remain murky, Guy. Murky. Now, I've got to say this again, so here we go. The UK government plans a publicity campaign to build public sentiment against end-to-end encryption. Here we go. I think that the person, company, governing body is putting at risk my ability to be able to choose a secure and reliable environment that I have chosen. So that person, company, or governing body, if you want to play that silly game, I, along with a lot of other people, will continue to call you nasty, horrible people, for putting my security at jeopardy, UK government. There you go. iPhone workers again offered a large sign-on bonuses to meet the demand. So this is the second time in 7 months. Former iPhone workers are being offered large sign-on bonuses at Foxconn as Foxconn strives to keep pace with the demand for the iPhone 13. So the iPhone 13 looks to be doing very well, Guy.
Well, also remember, we are probably 2 to 3 months away from them starting to put together the iPhone 14.
Well,
at this point, I'm sure the iPhone 14 is pretty much locked in stone.
Well, yeah, but even so, they're still selling lots of iPhone 13s, and they're having to get more staff in. So that's even more impressive. Apple CEO Tim Cook personally lobbying Senate Judiciary Committee as antitrust threats loom. Ooh. You Americans, you're so funny. Apple says proposed antitrust bills would make iPhone users the targets of malware, ransomware, and scams. I think. Apparently, Guy, Apple will now require employees to submit proof of COVID-19 booster shot or face frequent testing. Well, good. An army spouse has used an AirTag to track track down a shady moving truck driver.
Okay. I thought you were going in a completely different direction.
No.
It was like,
I might do in a minute.
I slipped it into my husband's wallet.
I might do in a minute, which is nefarious, but I'll come back to that in a minute. So an army spouse has used an AirTag to track down a shady moving truck driver. She wasn't happy. She wanted to keep an eye on where her furniture was going.
I understand.
How basically, I don't know why I put that in. Perhaps I was going to read it to see how you actually did it. Oh, no, I was going to mention I saw an item that says how to add your COVID-19 vaccination records to Apple Health and Wallet on your phone. I did read through this very, very briefly. I was trying to see if I could find it for the UK, but I couldn't. So looks like that's for states only at this point in time, unless anybody would like to correct me, which I'm perfectly happy to be corrected. Apparently, Apple have put out a trailer for Severance starring Adam Scott. Woo!
Great Scott!
Very good. Apple explains how to clean it. I love this. This did make me laugh. Apple Guy has explained how to clean its polishing cloth. So they've told you how to clean the cleaning cloth. That's without buying a new one, of course.
This goes right along with having the instructions for how to use toothpicks on the side of the box.
Yeah. Incredible. Read the instructions, folks. Ericsson has sued Apple again over the 5G patent licensing. Sweden's Ericsson has filed another set of patent infringement lawsuits against Apple in the latest salvo. Between the two, there was slight difference between those two. But
Depends which rocks it was hitting on the way.
Absolutely. Between the two companies over royalty payment for the use of 5G patterns in iPhones. There you go. So more news on that probably, I'm sure. Apparently, Apple TV Plus has received 9 NACAPA, that's NAACP, Image Award nominations, the National Association for the Advancement of Coloured People. So NAPACA. There you go. Apple has confirmed.
I have absolutely nothing to say.
Well, don't say anything then.
Okay.
I just left it there. I moved on, and you had to say that you've got nothing to say. If you've got nothing to say, don't say you've got nothing to say.
Well, how else will people know?
Well, I think they would. Apple confirms it's ramping up its efforts to get more iOS 14 users to update iOS 15 to iOS 15. Not a surprise. I think there's, but actually not a surprise, but I think there's a little bit more in the background of that. Certainly when it comes to this lobbying thing that's going on as well. And yeah, I think iOS 15 might have some little surprises if the governments around the world aren't careful. Apparently, Guy, Apple Music is the second most used music streaming service, but it's still 50% lower than the position that Spotify's in. So I think Apple Music is about 15% and Spotify is about 30%. But of course, Spotify is completely free.
Yeah.
Sorry. Let me rephrase that. Spotify has a completely free option.
Well, so does Apple, but you have to import all of your own music into it.
Yeah, it's not quite the same, is it?
It's really
not quite the same. Apparently, Eddie Q back in 2013 wanted to bring iMessage to Android. That's new news, isn't it?
Yeah, and here's the thing. He waited 3 years until after the death of Steve Jobs before he even suggested it. Because
you think his legs might have been chopped off?
If there was anything that would have brought Steve Jobs back from the dead,
that would have been it.
That would have been it. We patent the hell out of this.
We thought 3 years, we're safe. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And now Apple has stopped signing iOS 15.2, blocking downgrades from 15.2.1. Yes, I've already said that one. I don't know why I've left that one in there. Apple PR chief Stella, and that's Stella, is it? No, hang on a minute. That's not right. Oh, I see. Yes, Stella Lowe. Okay. So Apple PR chief Stella Lowe departs after 8 months. And Christian Huguet, I think, has been named. Huguet.
So Stella Lowe had a long and
so 8 months.
Apple.
Yeah, no, 8 months. Pretty short, actually. But there was a certain guy from a UK company that wasn't there for very long either. Yeah. Now, over on the BBC website, there was a big article about Apple AirTags being easy for people to then be tracked by them. And then this one out of the Guardian, it seemed to be a UK thing all of a sudden. I was really scared Apple AirTags leads to stalking complaints. Police across the US have received reports of devices intended to help locate lost items being used for nefarious purposes. Well, we do know about this. You're a little bit late, UK reporting on this, and it's not, there are lots of other ways that people can do it if they really want to do it. Yes, this is an easy and cheap way, but if they really want to do it, then there are other ways of doing it. And actually, if you use your phone properly, it will tell you you're being tracked. The problem is, and I wanted to raise this because it did raise the point that you do have to kind of keep an eye on your phone a lot more regularly for it to tell you that that there is a device nearby that may not be yours. So, the emphasis then is on you a little bit. So maybe Apple have got to do a little bit more to get over that.
This is important message. I'm man, not so stupid.
Because what they want to find out about is
good, clean, wholesome fun.
Well, maybe, maybe not. Mac OS Monterey 12.2 and iOS 15.3 release candidates fix Safari bug that leaks browsing activity, but we'll wait and see that when it comes. Apple Watch charging bug fixed in in WatchOS 8.4 in that release candidate when that comes out. HomePod software 15.3 enables multi-user voice recognition in more countries. Yippee. And I've got something else about more countries and Apple releasing stuff in a little while. Apple to stop including earpods with every iPhone sold in France from next week. Do you remember that? It was some time ago and they said, no, you have to sell the earphones in the box in France. Well, now they don't.
France.
Did you like that accent?
I did. That was enjoyable.
Every French listening member, and probably anybody who's a fan of
both
France.
Of them.
Both of them. Yeah. Epic has pushed to overturn an App Store ruling in the opening appeal brief. Yeah. So there you go. That's good. That's gonna run and run, isn't it? Epic,
yeah. Keep trying, Epic.
Epic have really got down that dead end, and they are trying every door that they can to get out of that one.
Tim McFreakin Sweeney, keep reaching for the stars, dude. That's what it is.
Now, the next one made me laugh because I thought, you're kidding. Apple floated as a potential buyer of Peloton.
Is that a real story?
It's a real story. It's a real story. And I thought, I just made me laugh. That's why I put it in there. Now, this sounds like a lot.
They just had to make it fit in the Apple car. That's it. And then all their problems are over.
Absolutely. Now, this is a lot of money, but when I was thinking about it, I thought it doesn't sound a lot of money for the process that it's talking about in the States. This doesn't happen in the UK quite to this degree. Apple spent $6.5 million on lobbying Washington, D.C. in 2021. And $6.5 million, though it is a lot of money, for the lobbying that I've heard, I thought that doesn't sound like a great deal. So I wanted to get your view on that.
Yeah, that's like 1% of each senator and House member's salary. So,
yeah.
All things considered,
not a lot.
Not a whole lot. Why do you think this legislation for hitting Apple up as being a monopoly keeps coming up over and over again? Because apparently they're just not putting enough in the coffers of senators and House members everywhere.
And do those senators and
they're
House members
people too, Gaz?
They're people too. They are people too. But are they in a monopoly themselves? I'm saying no more.
Yeah. What, House and Senate? Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
They are.
And that's a UK perspective, not guys. Apple reverses the course. No longer requires Unidays verification for Education Store in the US. Earlier this week, Apple rolled out stricter verification requirements for its online education store in the United States after previously not requiring any sort of verification. Just a few days later, however, Apple appears to have reversed this decision and it's no longer requiring verification of eligibility. Yes, and that.
So if you want to get 5 to 10% off of your purchase, just claim to be doing something in education in the United States. And bam, there you go.
You're good. And that, folks, is the end of Gaz's snippets. However, this week, I do have a Gaz's link. Now, I heard on Alison Sheridan's show her talking about, let me just get this open if I can. I need to open this website. It's an Apple product. And it sounded like, I didn't want to go for the AirPods Pro because they just didn't seem quite right for me and possibly too expensive. And there was things about it which I thought, no, I really don't want to go down that avenue. But there was a slightly cheaper option which didn't have quite so much capability, but still has quite a lot of capability, which is the Beats Fit Pro. And I tell you what, Guy, I couldn't find them until I found until I found a page on the UK store, Apple Store, which basically says that they are coming soon. So there's a page which tells you that they're coming soon, that Apple Store a pickup is currently unavailable because they're obviously not released outside of the US. Now, they're available in the US, apparently, the Beats Fit Pro, but they're not available outside the US. Now, the thing is, I just found this odd for Apple to put this on it and, our website saying that they're coming soon. I would have thought they'd have just done it when they were available.
How are you going to use them?
How am I going to use them? I pick them up, I turn them on, I put them in my ears, and then connect to my device, and I listen to the music for them.
No sarcasm there at all.
None at all.
None at all. I have found that the earphones, EARFUNZ.
Do that again for me.
Earphones.
Go on, spell it.
EARFUNZ.
FUNZ, right?
Yeah. Are pretty good. I've got a pair here someplace. I don't know where.
Okay. From Logo Moose.
Sure.
Possibly.
Yeah.
I'll look up them.
Mooses make the best Bluetooth earbuds.
Can I just say though, the reason I've drifted away from Apple on the Beats earphones that I had, mainly through price. But actually, I'll tell you what, the problem is, actually, I've found some of the other earphones that I've been trying from not unknown companies. There's just something about them. They just don't work as well. They fall out my ear more often. They don't connect when I want them to. They then connect to every single device that I've got open. And it's a real pain. So there is something about the software, which is in these Apple devices, which is not as good for the others. So anyway, it's just interesting. It was interesting to me that Apple have got a page saying coming soon, and it's been up now like that for 2 weeks. And for me, Apple normally, says, so available, buy it.
Here they are, right here. Buy them. Give us your money.
Yeah. That's the end of my Gaz's link.
All right. Well, I guess that's it for this whole segment then. Yeah. No, don't nod. No head nodding. That's later on. So everyone, please stand by. I don't know if I can do a proper French accent because I don't think we have pissed them off enough, guys. We need to piss them off more. So everyone stand by while I do an extremely exaggerated French accent. And
oh dear,
the GMen will be right back. Jawohl. No, that's wrong language.
And we've just lost all the Canadians as well. Hi everyone, and welcome to the part 2 of this week's mighty MyMac podcast. This is section 2 for all our French listeners that are still here.
They're all gone.
They're
like,
gone.
No,
gone. Yeah. You are deleted.
Okay, Clouseau.
Yeah. Now, what on earth have you got in the subject this week, Guy? It says matter and thread.
Yes. If you recall, last week when we were talking about some of the other CES devices that had come up for the big conference that nobody actually went to.
Yep.
Something that came up time and time again in regards to Apple's, I'm just completely lost my train of thought. What is that called? HomeKit. Wow. Yeah, that shows you that quality information is about to be dispensed here, folks. When we can't even remember the name of the standard that we were just talking about. So the problem for Apple with HomeKit has been a lot of companies haven't used it because its security standards and the way that it interoperates with other devices is much stricter than other companies that make Internet of Things. Now, that's not a bad thing, because the Internet of Things that Apple creates with their partners are typically much more secure than baby monitors that you can listen to on the web, and home cameras that are suddenly appearing in other people's feeds. Those are not good things. So, as I said, we talked last week about CES 2022 and how much of the stuff that was coming out of that is going to work natively with Apple. And the cool thing is here with Matter and Thread, and we'll talk about that, is it's not Apple that's doing the heavy lifting here. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is Thread. Thread is a wireless protocol that is in essence a mesh network of devices. And what makes mesh so great is that the more devices that you have in the network, the stronger the bond will be between all of those devices. So even if one or two devices suddenly stop communicating or get weaker, the other devices in the area will pick up the slack to ensure that the integrity of the overall network is sustained. It's based on an existing standard, and you can look this up if you want. I had absolutely no interest in doing so. IEEE 802.15.4. Now, you know, as much as you did going into it, and it was created for specifically as a means to allow the Internet of Things devices to communicate with each other and create a common network, even if some of those devices aren't made to necessarily work with each other. Now, as an example, take a CCTV camera, an infrared motion sensor, a front door deadbolt, and a controlled power outlet. These are 4 devices that do very different jobs, have a range of power requirements, and may or may not have a if this then that programmable event capability, or may need to always be on. Now, what they have in common, or the common thread,
nice
is the communications protocol that they all share and will pass on to one another to do the jobs that they were purchased for. And best of all, Thread will work with multiple different hardware applications like Matter, which we'll get to in a second, HomeKit, Weave, Dolly, KNX, BACnet, and OCF.
So what are all those other that you just mentioned? Weave, Dali, KNX, BACnet, and OCF. Are they protocols, or are they device protocols? Or
they're device communication protocols.
Okay, cool,
so
cool.
Each one of, like, say if you had a Dolly device and a KNX device,
Right, gotcha.
Side by side, they wouldn't communicate with one another.
But if you've got Thread, then they can communicate through Thread.
Exactly.
Yeah. He's a really good guy, isn't he, Fred?
He is. That Thread,
Yeah.
I love him. He's wonderful. So the next thing, a little joke here. What's a matter with you? Okay, never mind.
Sometimes you make me laugh.
Not that time, though. So, Matter was originally called Connected Home over IP, IP being Internet Protocol, or CHIP for short. Matter is a standard for connectivity developed by the aptly named Connectivity Standards Alliance, which has the support of some of the big name players like Apple, Amazon, Google, and a few other companies. It's meant to take advantage of some of the divergent standards out there into one application framework. So many companies can create their own products, and they can work together even with different voice assistants, such as Amazon's A-Lady, Google's Assistant, Apple's S-Lady, as well as others.
Cool.
Matter is based on the Internet Protocol and will be certified to be able to use, all devices that have the Matter logo will have to be certified in order to have that logo and the Matter branding. And this means that end users will be able to pick and choose amongst devices to best suit their own needs and budgets within reason. I mean, you wouldn't expect a coffee maker to work with a security camera or, some other ridiculous example like that. However,
can I just say,
sure.
Well, no, you carry on and I'll ask that question at the end.
Okay. But that smart coffee maker can pass information to and from that video camera, all within the Thread, which we were just talking about a second ago, network.
Right. So I'm just trying to understand what the difference between Matter and Thread is.
Does it matter?
Oh, very good. Good. Sometimes.
I know. Sorry. Thread is it seems to me that Thread is more of a connectivity standard between all of the other hardware application standards. Okay. Whereas Matter is the actual means in which they're going to communicate.
Okay. All right.
I think as I was reading a lot of this, I was kind of like, because I'm certainly not an IP expert. However, I do work in security, so this to me this is.
I've got a question. I've got a question on that as well, actually.
Okay, well, what's your question?
Well, my question is, obviously, Apple have pushed and said HomeKit is really secure. How does the process of these protocols affect the security levels that Apple say you get within your HomeKit environment?
From what I understand, and if anyone has a better understanding of this than I do, which is
come on the show. Come on the show.
I would love, who I would love to get on to talk about this is Dave Hamilton.
Okay.
I would love to get Dave Hamilton on to talk about this, and maybe we'll do if I can get a hold of him and get him to agree, do like a special MyMac podcast where we just talk.
Let's not schedule on the show itself.
No, because he'll avoid me like the plague.
Move on.
If we do. Okay, so from what I understand is if it's going to work with Apple's HomeKit, whereas you can use the Home app to program if this then that events and schedules and all the rest of that, then it's basically working within the HomeKit framework. If it's not set up to work like that, it may still pass information back and forth to devices that use HomeKit, but may not necessarily work within HomeKit itself.
Okay.
Maybe.
Right. Okay. Fine.
Yeah. Now, the end result is that the Internet of Things, having become a wild west of crazy standards and low security, is becoming a more mature ecosystem with Matter and Thread kind of leading the way. No single company will be able to dominate and shut out the ideas of others. Low-powered and battery-operated devices and others working with mains all over Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, providing a strong and secure connection between all of the devices concentrated within a single network. That is like if you have all of these devices connected up over Wi-Fi, they have to all be on the same Wi-Fi network. You couldn't have, because like in this house, I've got 3 different Wi-Fi networks running.
Yeah.
So they all have to be on one Wi-Fi network in order to work together.
Okay.
And they'll each have now it is self-healing, where we were talking about earlier. If one device drops out, the other ones that are in the area will make up the difference and keep the overall integrity of the network going. But there's more words that need to come out that I can't. I lost my.
Do you know what you lost?
My train of thought.
No, your thread.
Oh, yeah, but does it matter?
So, folks, you'll find out in the weeks to come.
Yeah, but essentially, they all have to be on the same network. They all have to work under a particular hardware application protocol like HomeKit or some of the other ones that we're talking about. And some of these may work together without, any problems as far as programming them to do one thing or the other. It's really, really fun and interesting times.
Excellent. Yeah, excellent. That's good. And I know that actually HomeKit products are now becoming more ubiquitous because of these protocols. So that's
good. There's a lot more companies that are making HomeKit compatible devices. And that's not to say that they're HomeKit exclusive.
No.
They may also work under these other standards as well, which is fine. But as long as they are HomeKit compatible, I think this is where I was originally going to go. And then my brain kind of went, look, there's a squirrel over there. But yeah, as long as they're all HomeKit compatible, you can use them all within the same network. And as long as, of course, that they're similar type devices related to either home automation or security or video or something along those lines,
cool.
They'll work together and do things together. So you could set up a motion sensor that if it sees someone in the house moving around will disable door contact so that you don't set off the alarm system.
Yeah, because you were talking earlier about obviously coffee machines not wanting to be linked up to a door camera, a video camera. And actually, you would want the communication from HomeKit to be able to do that because you may want the coffee maker to turn on when it sees you at the door, of course.
Yeah. Okay, sure.
And folks, do you want me to show you what Guy is like when his brain does get affected by a squirrel? You ready?
Ready. Hello?
There you go. That's it.
Oh.
You see?
Oh, now you're nodding your head.
Hit it. Gaz's tips.
Mostly.
Gaz's tips.
Mostly.
Gaz's tips.
It's time for
Gaz's tip.
Squirrel.
Guy, Shift Command !/ or / basically brings up the find keyboard help. So when you go Shift, right, Command and ! or the /, it goes straight onto the help and you can search. However, you mentioned in the early part of the show that you didn't think Apple's help was very good. So you take it and you leave it. It all depends.
That may or may not be in the after show. We were talking about that.
Yes, we may or may not be, but it's there. Shift Command ! or /. Also, though, if you're in Finder, if you go into Edit, did you know that you can show your clipboard, which shows you a record of your recent clipboard? Might be useful might be useful. I don't think people, it's there and it's quite obvious, but unless you're looking for it, you may have missed it.
Well, it's just that last one.
The last one. Sorry. Yes. Just the last one, which could be useful.
Yes.
Couldn't it, Guy?
I agree.
Yeah. Hit it. That's the end of Gaz's tips. That's the end of Gaz's tips. That's the end of Gaz's tips.
Is that the end of the tip?
Will you let me finish?
Gaz, you are absolutely right.
My word.
God, we are so childish. We really are.
When you say we.
Okay, me. I'm very childish. I'm a 61-year-old child.
Get on with it.
Okay. I have a pick this week, Gaz. And I talked about it a little bit earlier. The Motu M4 audio
the Motu
interface.
M4. Yes, that audio interface. Yeah.
Oh, you know it.
I'm quite familiar with that.
No, you're not.
No, I'm not.
No, not at all. It's about $270 over there on the Amazons, which is not bad for an audio interface of this quality. And
what?
Remember that you can get a Woo T if you do
how are you spelling that? Review. How are you spelling that, Guy?
Oh, that's big W, big O, big O, big T, little I, little E. Nice. That spells Woody, and then exclamation mark at the end of it. So
but we can't tell them what it is because they've got to earn it to find out.
Oh, you definitely have to earn it.
Yeah.
And there's so many different ways you can earn it by, and actually everyone who enters the the bumper contest. As long as you
Yep.
send me an email, you'll get a Woody. If you call our Skype telephone number, you'll get a Woody. If you send me $10,000, you'll get a Woody.
You'll get
And
several.
that last one, yeah, oh yeah, I'll send you a damn Woody every single day for $10,000. I'm no fool about.
Mind you, if you
that.
send me $10,000, you won't get a Woody.
No, probably not. But you'll call me and say, "Guy, make this person a Woody."
Yeah.
And I would.
Anyway, why are you talking about Wooties?
Because one of the things that's going on is our 600th podcast, which is coming up in early March, I think. So we're 5 shows away from it.
Ooh.
But show 885 will be the last chance to enter a bumper to be eligible for the fabulous prize that we still haven't determined what that's going to be. But it'll be fabulous. Fabulous will be the prize. So you can be, I know this is really going quite badly.
Get on with it.
Yeah, you can be one of the cool kids like Greg and Marcus, both of whom we have bumpers from this week.
Oh, excellent. Yes. Yeah. I think I've got something to say about one of those communications.
Well, why don't we start with Marcus then? Go ahead.
You start with Marcus. Yes. Yeah. You
want me to just go ahead and play it?
Just play it. Yeah.
Okay. Here is Marcus.
No. Let me say first. So we both received Marcus's bumper. Okay.
Yes.
And I played it. But I played it through my speakers, and I had a room full of family when I played this, and it wasn't. It was the raw bumper, folks,
non-edited.
So thanks, Marcus.
This is probably in response to our frequent request.
Yes,
for these bumpers to remain clean.
So remember, Marcus, I'm sitting with my family. Well, I wasn't sitting with the family. They happened to be in the room at the same time and over the speakers, which were turned up quite loud.
So they heard the whole thing.
Yep.
Well, let's go ahead and play it. This is the edited version of Marcus's bumper because I wasn't dumb enough to just dump this into Farrago and play it without hearing what it sounded like first. And by the way, Marcus, thank you. Thank you for giving us this.
Yeah, thank you. Made us smile.
Oh, I thought I unfollowed and deleted the MyMac.com podcast with Guy and Gaz.
So one more time, because we talked over part of it.
Oh, I thought I unfollowed and deleted the MyMac.com podcast with Guy and Gaz.
It's probably not too hard to figure out what that word was that got bleeped out.
Anyway, you say we got some more.
We have 2 from Greg. And the first one I'm going to play here, Greg, if you're listening, and I know you are, thank you.
Yes.
Not just for listening, though we thank you for that, but for also all these great bumpers. This bumper had some issues. And I will play it.
It's a bumper with issues.
It's a bumper with issues, even more so than most of our bumpers that have issues. So here it is.
If you're enjoying this show, please go get tested. It's the GMen on the MyMac.
So
yeah.
I
think that bumper had COVID.
Yeah, it may, and who knows? Maybe that was the intent of him sending it. If that was not the intent, Greg, please re-record it or call our Skype member again, which we'll talk about in just a minute, and send that to us again. And here is a bumper that doesn't have issues beyond being a bumper for the MyMac podcast.
One calls it an elevator. The other calls it a lift. I guess they were just raised differently. They're the G-Men on the MyMac.
Nice. I like it. I
had to cover my mouth because I was starting to laugh because I've listened to this one.
Yeah, also. I hadn't heard that one. either of those two. So
so
that was
that is
good.
And considering your Gaz's dad jokes at the end of the show,
Mm-hmm.
that is brilliant. That
Yes.
is just so on point. I love that. We were just raised differently. Very good. Thank you,
Very
Greg.
good. Thank you.
That is high praise indeed, because that is just an amazing bumper.
That's high raise indeed.
High raise. There's a
Move
P
on.
at the end.
Move
Okay, so Gaz, if people wanted to get a hold of you, you know what? First, I should probably say this. If you would like to support this train wreck of a show, all you have to do is go on over to Patreon, patreon.com/MacParrot, coffee, ko-fi.com/MacParrot, or pay a pal at paypal.me/MacParrot. There we go. Now, Gaz, if people wanted to get a hold of you and say, why do you let Guy go on like this? How would they do so?
Well, they would do it. Just so you know, folks, I can't control him, right? I've tried and I am
uncontrollable.
I just give up. Okay. So if you want to give me some hints, send an email to Gaz, G-A-Z, at mymac.com, or on the Twitters, twitter.com/GazMazGAZ, M-A-Z, or both of us on the Twitters, twitter.com/Guy and Gaz, GYANDGAZ. And the music goes away. You can also send an email to feedback@mymac.com, FWDBACK at mymac.com. I do try and say that FWDBACK as quickly as I possibly can.
You do that well.
Yeah.
But you've had almost 600 shows to practice. So.
Well, yeah, but we didn't always used to say that one. But anyway.
That's true. If I had an unlimited amount of time, and I don't,
which
I would go
does.
all the way through these shows and say, okay, this is the show where we started doing this, and this is the show where we started doing that. And then we would talk about it on a different show and just bore the crap out of everybody.
I think we do that anyway, mate.
Maybe.
So we are definitely going to need a bigger boat.
MyMac.
Thank you, Alison. That's very nice of you. What?
Guy was paid his $75,000.
Well, he would really like to think that he could be.
Do we know it was a guy?
No, it wasn't a guy.
I like to go with Guy.
I like to go with Guy as well, but it's definitely not Guy. Especially that.
Pay no attention to that guy behind the curtain.
No, definitely, because
Guy says.
What does he say?
He's the guy.
He's always saying that, isn't he?
Guy.
Yeah.
You remember Guy?
I remember Guy. So, if somebody wants
an email from Guy,
because
Guy's the one,
and
his name was Guy.
How would they do it without?
No fooling.
Oh, every single week, I'm like, will this be the week that I completely lose my mind? If you would like an email from Guy, that would be guy@mymac.com or podcast@vertshark.com. Speaking of which, vertshark.com is the website that you can go to for all of the odds and all of the vids that not only that Gaz and I do, but also Guy's Daily Drive and whatever other craziness pops into my head. The big difference between what you'll get there and what you get with the MyMac feed is the MyMac feed includes the after show. So if you want the after show, you can only get that through the MyMac feed. Beyond that, I am also on Twitter, Gaz. I am Mac Parrot and Vert Shark. I figured you were like, oh God, he's going on there. Over there, I'm also Vert Shark over there on the Twitters. There we go. And we have a Skype telephone number.
We do.
That Skype telephone number where you can call in and leave a bumper that will get you a Woody and a possibility of winning a fabulous, as of yet undetermined prize for our 885th podcast, which is really our 600th podcast that is really show 885. Wow. Okay. So that Skype number, Gaz, is 1 or +1 outside the United States, 703-436-9501. Or you can dial that 1 or +1 still screwing this up. And just dial 703-436-9501. Or just, if you have an aversion to a 1 or a +1, even though it's in the rest of the phone number, you can just go right to the Skype app and dial 7. I know, it's so hard. 703-436-9501.
Oh,
wow.
dear. Wow, Guy.
Every week I try to make it original, and every week I just make it
fail.
worse. I fail beyond my wildest dreams. There is so much fail in how I do that delivery each and every week. But I am consistent in my failure. Consistency is the key right there. So I would like to say thank you. Thank all of you for downloading and listening to the MyMac.com podcast. We really, really want you to listen. We appreciate the fact that you do so. And the fact that you do so means that you think, it's all on you at this point, that we're good enough.
Yeah.
And that you think that we're smart enough.
Yeah.
Wow. Just wow. And that, doggone it, Wilf, who does like us, woof, woof, Wilf, Wilf, woof. People and dogs like us.
Eine Nerd intrad is wat nötig is voor ein umhemde etu de doen, anders is het genoen worden. Yeah, it's not too bad. I'm going to give you some quick ones now then, Guy. Some quick ones.
Okay.
I've got a fear of speed bumps, but I'm slowly getting over it. I was addicted to soap, but I'm clean now. Okay. Do you know, it takes guts to be an organ donor. And this one, this one is very apt, actually. I've got a fear of elevators, but I've started taking steps to avoid it. I once hired a limo, Guy. When it arrived, the guy driving it walked off. I said, "Excuse me, are you not going to drive me?" The guy told me that the price did not include a driver. So I spent £400 or $400, if you like, on a limo, and I have nothing to show for it. I knew I'd get there in the end. See what I did there? Knew I'd get there in the end.
So you can all go home and there's nothing to worry about. Get out of here now. Go on home and go home.